I'm weirding out because I'm getting older, and there's literally no one I can't date anymore. If you're in your 30s and men of value don't want a long-term relationship with you, and they only want sex, of course you think there's no one left to date. However, there are plenty of men to date out there. There are men all around to date, right? But if you're in your 30s and men of value don't want a long-term relationship with you, and they only want sex, then of course you think there's no one left to date. You are rapidly running out of potential romantic partners. The guys that are dateable or not, they haven't gone anywhere, they just don't want you. This is how all girls are if there are no guys available to her in her mind. Well, there's just no one left to date. As if the guys are just no longer around, they just stop and disappear. No, there are plenty of guys around, they're just not interested in her. So let's go ahead and get started here. So the beginning of the article says Ruby Catherine is going through this right now because she believed she had all the time in the world. But now, of course, she does not. So let's take a look at the first bullet point. She points out, number 1, my dating pool shrank before I'd even noticed. She says, I was in a serious relationship for a couple of years, and then I was taking my time to recover from the breakup. When I was finally ready to date again, I looked around and realized that I had a serious problem. Everyone yikes, guys, she's being dishonest when she says, quote, took time to recover. What this means is that she was having casual sex with a lot of guys in a short period of time. She wants us to think that she was a hermit and just stayed in that, oh, I need time to recover from a breakup. She wants us to think that she just stayed holed up in her big city apartment, didn't do anything, didn't go anywhere, didn't hang. No. The guy you turned down in your 20s is still unattractive to you right now. That's the guy she doesn't want to date. The closer you get to 40, the more attractive he will be to you. Ruby, trust and believe, like I said, the guys didn't go anywhere, you just got older and less attractive. And that's what's happening. Let's go to her number 2. She says, all the good guys I know are taken. Now she says, quote, I used to know tons of great dudes. Somewhere along the way they all got snapped up. And the ones who don't seem to be all that great. I know there have got to be some awesome single guys out there, but yes, there are a lot of great single guys available. But they're dating Miss Catherine when she was 23 or 24 years old, not the 34-year-old Ruby that she is now. The number of available men is lower because of who you are, not because of the dating market. However, the number of available men is definitely lower now than it was when you were younger. This is an example of the solid cystic mentality. The number of men who are interested in her has decreased, so she must be thinking that the number of men has simply decreased in general. However, the opposite is true. The number of men who are interested in you has decreased. Let's move on to her third bullet point, which states that most people are now involved in serious relationships. She continues, before, people broke up all the time, and nothing seemed all that permanent. Now, all around me, I see people who want to settle down already. This is another example of solipsism. When she was in her 20s, everyone around her was in a relationship. But if you want to know why she wasn't paying attention to those relationships, it's because she was sleeping around. Free spirit, quote unquote. This is another term for a woman who engages in sexual activity with a number of different men and is unwilling to make a commitment to any of them. Because she is a party girl, respectable men will not want a quote from her. Spirit of freedom, they do not want a woman who is erratic. You had access to all of the free-spirited men when you were in your 20s, but now you realize that those free-spirited men and the bad boys are not good for long-term relationships, just like Sheryl Sandberg said, you can't have it both ways, sweetheart. And when she says, I'm just now finding my individuality and freedom, when she says just now finding, no, she is just now figuring out that maybe I shouldn't have partied all through. The younger guys haven't committed to anyone just yet, but I don't have much in common with the majority of them. Yeah, no shit, they're young and you're old, she continues, and I don't have a problem dating a divorced guy. At least I know he's able to commit. On the other hand, the older we get, the more baggage we all have. This is a harsh dose of reality thrown in her face. To return to the beginning of her statement, she initially stated, well, the only viable guys are younger and divorced. However, she later clarified that this is not entirely true, telling the audience, there you go guys, that small little nugget of truth. No. The men of value don't want you. When she says, okay, that's not entirely true, but it's the majority. Yes, listen, the viable guys don't want you anymore. She tried to pawn it off as only the young and divorced guys. No, sweetheart, only the damaged guys are available. That's how she wants to package it to us. No, sweetie, negative. It's the viable guys that don't want you. The men of value don't want you. Listen, the only viable guys are younger and divorced is 100%. To support us, like this video, please subscribe. and make sure to send this video to the person who needs to hear it the most.